Hello, everybody. Welcome to the EMESIS podcast, where bad comics burn. It is me, Jess, aka the Tacoma Jehovah, and as usual with me is Chris, aka the Toronto Jehovah.
I'm the Ontarian here.
And we have a very special podcast for you today.
It's special is like topic on top of topic.
Yeah, we haven't done an episode in, a few weeks, and it feels like the entire fucking world has happened in that time.
Oh, yeah.
But before we get into it, what have you been up to? Anything interesting?
I just picked up Mortal Kombat 11, and that game is sick. I did not realize it was going to be that good.
Oh, yeah, I played a little bit of 10, or not a little bit, I played a fair bit of 10, and it's great, but, I never got 11 because it was a lot of money, but it's on sale for I don't know, 15 right now.
Yeah, it was on sale.
That.
It's gonna be back on sale, probably Christmas break sale.
Yeah, I gotta get that. And I have been watching movies lately, I guess. I'm not really much of a movie watcher, but then when I do get into the spirit, I sit down and watch, a couple movies at a time. So last night, I ended up watching a double feature, I guess, of movies where the main characters are going insane. I watched A Simple Plan, which, nobody I know has ever heard of this movie, even though, it's directed by Sam Raimi, who's not, a fucking indie director,
Evil Dead, Spider-Man, pretty big films on his thing.
Yeah, and it has Bill Paxton, it has Billy Bob Thornton in it. It's got, not an ensemble cast, but it's got, people that...
Notable.
You know. But it's a fucking awesome movie. I won't guess too much about the plot, but it's about these three dudes in rural Minnesota that they're out in the woods during winter time, and then they one of them throws a snowball at the other, and then it hits this pile that ends up the snow falls off, and it's a downed airplane, and then they look inside and they find a bag full of $4.5 million, and then they decided to keep it after some turmoil, and then it's just kind of about the panic and fear and paranoia of having basically stolen money that nobody knows that you have it, and people are going to go looking for it. And so it's kind of that internal burn or whatever, you know what I mean, of
and there's a plane crash and all that.
Yeah,
so it's better than Lost. It's just if Lost was better.
Well, yeah, and it's only 2 hours, but it was a fucking incredible movie. It's really well shot. It has Danny Elfman music in it. It's got a lot of shit going for it. And then I looked, it only has 17,000 ratings on Letterboxd, which is not that many. Probably Cool Cat Saves the Children has more fucking ratings than that, you know what I mean? Fuck.
Now let's talk about the most underrated movie of all time.
Oh yeah, I also watched The Dirties last night, which is directed by Matt Johnson, who is the guy who made Nirvana the band the show, which, if you know, you know. That show is...
He is one of the most creative minds out there in filmmaking right now. You need to watch, his show. You need to watch the movies he's directed. They are on something else. They are next level.
I've only seen 2 episodes of Nirvana the band the show because I'm watching it with Chris, and, just the pilot alone, I still maintain, is one of the best pilots I've ever seen. It's just there's not a wasted second in it, and it's just completely packed. One scene flows right into the next. There's
the whole
no
series
boring.
Is like that.
I just can't wait. But so The Dirties is a movie where, do you want to explain a bit about it?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. So this movie was made in Ontario with a budget of $10,000, which, if you know anything about filmmaking, even making something on $1 million is considered low budget. So just imagine trying to make something on $10K. So
$1 million is super low budget.
Yeah, so what was it? Clerks by Kevin Smith is a very low budget movie, and so Dirties is that low budget. It's in that realm. And so it was filmed Matt Johnson, his partner Owen Williams, I think that was his last name, and then just a few of their friends. Not much casting. They only casted a few people. Everyone else was either real people that were just there, or they were just friends of them and they just collaborated on this, even with the writing and all that. So very low cast and crew overall. And then it's about a school shooting plan. So the two main characters are making a movie for their film class where they want to get revenge on their bullies, and so they have like a whole mock-up where like, oh, we're gonna snipe them or whatever, and then like,
yeah, and the bullies in this movie are fucking dickwads. Like, you really feel the scope of how asshole-ish I didn't really get bullied that much in school, but if that was like what I had to go through, real. I don't know. Like, I probably would have brought a gun to school too, honestly.
Like, I've seen stuff like that kind of happen at school before. It never really happened to me that badly. I mean, in middle school, there was a bit of bullying, but, like, I've seen that kind of thing happen. It was very accurate to how people get bullied to that extent.
And so the way this movie progresses, I guess, it starts just, like, with them they're going to make a movie about getting revenge on the bullies who they call the dirties, like the bad people of the school or whatever. And so they both just kind of start out like, haha, we're making a movie where we are kind of fictionally getting revenge on these people. And then it just kind of progresses in such a way where the main character, Matt, who's, I guess, is named after the real name.
Yeah, they don't, like, change names for anybody. They just kind of use the same names.
Yeah, in their little room, there's posters with like the names on, like, where there would be the names of the actors. They have taped over it. It's like Matt Johnson and Owen Williams. So, like, they literally just have their real names in the movie. But it progresses in such a way where the main character, I won't try to spoil too much about it, but you can just tell that there's something knocking around in this guy's head. He's completely fucking unhinged and just unpredictable. You don't really know what he's going to do next, but you know it's going to be something fucking bizarre.
Yeah, well, there's a point where, like, he's like, what if we just, like, actually kill them? And that's, like, in the trailer too. That's kind of like the main point of the movie, is he's just like, what if we just, like, went in there and actually killed them? And Owen's kind of like, haha, yeah, like, isn't that what we're doing in our movie? And then he's like, no, but, like, actually shoot them. And then, like, he starts, like, getting really into the idea.
And there's a scene in it where he goes to I don't know what the actual building is called, but he gets the floor plans for this, like, real high school. I'm pretty sure it's real.
So they use a few different high schools to film in, but because all Ontario high schools look the same, like, you can just assume it's one school, because you wouldn't be able to tell unless you, like, go to the school and you're like, wait, that's not part of my school. But if you don't know, like, the immersion is very much there.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even know they were shot in different places. That's really
They only used, like, 2 or 3 schools, if I remember correctly.
And so, like, a lot of the people in this are just, like, drama club actors at a high school that, like, according to you, stayed after to be a part of this movie.
So some scenes, like, when they're just, like, in hallways or just, like, doing dialogue, like, they're just filming it, like, in the school. Like, they got permission, obviously, because they can't just walk in there and film. So, like, staff knew, but, like, the students didn't. They were just filming there. Unless there's, like, a classroom scene. Any scene that had, like, them interacting in a classroom was, like, they just, like, got, like, the drama kids or whatever and would, like, film.
Well, of course, because they're not going to have, like, a 28-year-old man sitting in at biology class or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, the big scene at the end is, like, very much, obviously, like, just a bunch of actors and it's scripted. But for the most part, like, everything is real in this movie.
And it feels like it, too. Like, it's the kind of movie where if I didn't know any of that stuff, which I just about forgot all of it going into seeing it, I, like, didn't remember that the people aren't, or that they're just, like, real people, because it feels so natural. It feels just like everything was supposed to happen the way that it did. But apparently even, like, none of the dialogue was scripted.
Oh, the only thing they scripted was the very last, like, sequence in the movie. That was, like, they planned that, and that was what they wanted to roll with, but everything else was kind of just, like, they probably had, like, so many scenes that got deleted or changed because they just, like, couldn't fit them into the story. So what you're watching is essentially just, like, what they were able to string together to make a coherent movie, and it's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, it was really fucking cool. I need to see, what's the other one that Matt Johnson made, the one about NASA?
It's called Operation Avalanche, and this one is almost even more ambitious. So it's got $1 million budget, also very low budget, but they had a little more to work with this time. And it takes place in the 60s, and they go into NASA. They actually filmed in NASA because there's a lot of areas that are very, like, time accurate to the time of Apollo 11. And so they're basically filming in there, and they find out that NASA, so it's like in an alternate universe where, like, or timeline where the moon landing is, like, confirmed fake, And so it's about them finding that out, that NASA can't land on the moon. So they decide that they're going to work with some people to like fake the moon landing and use that footage for NASA while being spied on by like these Russian government people. And it's fucking next level. Like the fact that they were able to like just like sneak into NASA and film, because
like, isn't it illegal?
Yeah, because the thing that they did, I guess NASA just assumed that there was just like some amateur film students wanted to like film some interviews, because they did interview people. And then in between all that, I guess they just kind of like snuck around and filmed some scenes for their movie. And then like whatever they couldn't do at NASA, they would just like film in areas that still looked accurate to the time. So they put a lot of effort into making this movie look like it came out at the time, and it feels like it, because they even like, I think there's like some scenes with like a plane or whatever, they need to make sure like the planes or like any vehicles were like built before like, you know, like when the movie was being filmed. So
of course, yeah, they need to get like a period accurate.
Yeah,
like,
so they couldn't have like
M4 Skyhawk or whatever.
They couldn't have something that was like done in 1970, so they'd have to make sure it was like 67 or something, just to like,
I mean, hell, that's more attention to accuracy than like that 70s show. They would have like, they would show characters playing with Star Wars toys that came out in like the 80s.
Yeah. So they like really put a lot of soul into that movie, and you can feel it, especially in the car chase sequence. I won't like say too much more about that movie. You just gotta see.
Oh yeah, because I haven't seen it yet either. So like, and the audience probably hasn't either, because from what I can tell, nobody really like. Even Nirvana, the band, the show, isn't very like popular.
Yeah, like Matt Johnson has his following, but he's not like a like massive star in Canada or anything. He's just kind of like if you know.
Has Been Hotel is more popular than Matt Johnson is. Just kind of
says a lot.
Sad to think about. We're gonna try to get him on the podcast at some point. I do not know what that would take, but
that would be
incredible. And so next on my list is I'm gonna watch this movie Possessor that my friend was telling me about. It's like, from what I can tell, a movie. Well, so the way I found out about it is I was in my Discord server and I was talking about how I want to write a movie where scientists like find a way to put like one person in another person's brain to like figure out like how they tick or whatever. But then they do it to Chris Chan. Like somebody goes into her brain and figures out like just like, you know, for scientific you know, posterity or whatever. But then, because of the full weight of Chris Chan's mind, the person that gets like zapped in there goes completely insane and goes on like a killing spree as Chris Chan. Like that was my plot idea. And then someone said like, so basically Possessor but with Chris Chan, and I'm like, I looked it up and I'm like, yeah, like that's
I kind of want to watch looks Possessor awesome. Now. I've never seen that before. Who's in it, and like director and all that? Do you know?
It's the son of the Cronenberg. I don't remember his first name, but David Cronenberg, I think, directed it, or his son. I don't remember, and I don't remember who's in it either. But I know very little about it, which is kind of my intention. I don't like to know like everything about a movie before I see it. Like when I saw A Simple Plan, all I really knew was like what the description said on Letterboxd and the cast and stuff. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. It said it was like a neo-noir crime thriller, and I'm like, that sounds
up your alley.
I like.
Sure.
I love crime thriller.
And your
movies.
favorite movie is Good Time.
Yeah. So, been a Kino buff. And on the topic of, I guess, other things that we're interested in, give me an update on the Pokémon TCG market.
Okay, so this kind of stretches a little while back. So last episode was
we talked about dumb money and
Logan Paul, the Collectibles
Guru.
So
our friend of the show, the Collectibles Guru.
Yeah, so
Collectibles Guru, and to preface what we're about to talk about, if you hear this, you are more than welcome to come on EMESIS to talk to us about your you caring so much about the Pokemon TCG market that you'll post videos of you with like 10 grade or like PSA 10 Charizards with like a stack of money behind it to show that you're not insecure at all.
Yeah, so I gotta talk about that actually. So there's a video I found on his channel, and like there's a piece of dialogue in it that like I burst out laughing, because it's a very staged thing where this guy goes up to his table and he's like trying to buy some cards. So Collectibles Guru's got his whole setup there. Oh yeah, I got the like PSA 10 Charizard here, the Blastoise, the Venusaur, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? because he was talking about Pokemon cards, and he just like starts like showing off these NBA rookie cards that he had, or just like these old vintage NBA cards. What
the fuck does that have to do with Pokemon?
Yeah, I know, because he was talking specifically about Pokemon. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh yeah, Michael Jordan. It's just like, yeah, what's your favorite
Collectibles and schizophrenia guru.
Yeah, it's like, what are your favorite Pokemon? Oh, I really like Gardevoir, Gengar, Michael Jordan, Pikachu, Zapdos,
Scottie Pippen's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, that's what it felt like. It was so surreal. Anyways, back to the topic of, so we're on the timeline now, where we've got Collectibles Guru kind of had the $300,000 box scam. So...
that he got from someone else, yes.
He contacted a YouTuber named Pay Money Wubby that was one of the first guys to like break the story about this whole thing, and he DM'd him. He's like, "You're just like some like fat nerd or whatever that is."
Oh my god! Then he call him. Then he like, yeah, he just said he was some fat jealous loser or something.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Okay.
So they DM back
Billy
and
Corgan, like
yeah, they DM back and forth, and they have this talk. He gives him the contact info of the seller. So apparently now, as far as we know, that this guy actually did have some Pokemon booster boxes in a gun safe and then sold them to the Collectibles Guru. So now, because the fact that the box was fake and the seller stands by his story, it seems like the Collectibles Guru actually just like opened this box for himself and then made like he forged it practically by like adding unlimited cards instead of first editions, because it was supposed to be a first edition box and he just threw in some.
Well, yeah, and the price disparity between like unlimited and first edition is like night and day.
So he had 2 first editions on the top and then the rest weren't first edition below that in this faked box.
And like, I guess he's selling it to dumb money who wouldn't fucking know the difference. Like...
yeah, except they had a Pokemon TCG guy there with them that was like, yeah, this is bullshit.
If one of the layers was just like a whole bunch of Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon packs, they probably wouldn't even think about it and just be like, whoa, that's cool. We didn't expect to find Yu-Gi-Oh cards in here.
Yeah, they just thought it was awesome. They'd be like, oh, that's cool, not realizing that it's like complete bullshit.
And so, does this go, like, what else happened? Does this go anywhere? Like, or is that it? Like, just scammed, like, he's just a complete con artist.
I haven't heard too much about it after. That's as far as I was aware of. Other than that, Logan Paul isn't really doing the whole Pokemon card thing. He already farmed clout from that, and...
him and Jake are too busy denying COVID.
Yeah, I don't know if they're both COVID deniers, but Jake Paul definitely, like, said some shit about it, or maybe the other one did. I can't remember. They're both kind of crazy.
Jake Paul atomized somebody in a boxing ring.
Not only did he like completely just fuck up somebody, it was an NBA player.
Which, like, that guy probably has like 100 pounds of mass, or like, muscle mass over Jake Paul, and somehow you couldn't pay me to watch that fight. Like,
the thing is, there was better fights on that night. Like, it was UFC night. Just watch UFC.
Yeah, UFC is fucking sick. Like,
yeah,
I used to watch like Brock Lesnar beat the shit out of people. Like, I remember there was one we were watching where it was like Brock Lesnar versus like some other, I don't know, notable UFC wrestler, and it was like hyped as the main event all night, and then Brock Lesnar like totaled the guy in like the first 2 minutes, and then it was just over.
Oh, that's happened so many times. There's like a big titled fight, and then all of a sudden one of them just gets fucked up hard.
I would never really pay for I think pay-per-view is a complete fucking waste of money, so I would never do that. But I just imagine what it's like if you pay like, I don't know, $55 for a boxing match, and then like somebody gets knocked out, like the main event gets knocked out in round 3 or something.
Feels like a waste.
I know, like you can just watch it. I mean, in general, you can just watch it on like an illegal stream. Don't delete us, YouTube. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying you can do that.
Whenever I'd go to friends' houses and there was like a UFC Saturday night, we'd always just like hook a laptop up to the screen and just find a website.
So, yeah, was anything else that's been going on with the Pokemon market, or has that been
That's pretty much it. Other than that, just like some of the streamers and YouTubers I follow that weren't doing Pokemon before, they got really into it and they seem to care about it for real, not just getting clout off of it. And then, of course, you've got your constants
your
like
Logan
Max
Pauls.
Mofo and all that who always do it. And yeah, your Logan Pauls who are like, oh, this is a trend, and now spikes the market up.
And, like, it's funny to me that Logan Paul doesn't even, like, he's not giving a shit anymore about the Pokemon TCG market. It's like, you fucking asshole.
Well, the only stuff they cared about was, like, base set and just, like, the original stuff because of the nostalgia. Like, everyone else I watch is opening, like, cool shit from, like, other eras of Pokemon because they like it. They don't just care about, like, oh, I want Charizard because Charizard's cool, and I want Pikachu.
Yeah, like, it's one thing to open a bunch of, like, was it Burning Legends, trying to find the Rainbow Charizard, but, like, these people would only care if it came out in, like, 1999 or something.
Yeah, because the nostalgia, bro, they don't even know about any of the Pokemon stuff after. Fake fans.
They're probably the people that are like, oh, yeah, after Gen 3, fuck it. Get it out of here. I used to be like that. Even when I liked Diamond and Pearl, I was kind of, like, begrudgingly enjoying it as, like, a kid. Because I was, like, kind of just poisoned by that mindset. I was like,
oh, I hated that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't, like, the kind of person that would, like, get down on people for, like, you know, liking that era. I just didn't have much, like... I kind of thought... I still think some of the Pokemon in Gen 4 are kind of stupid, like Bidoof and stuff. But, like, there are just some that... I could tell that that's when... I mean, to be fair, a lot of the OG Pokemon are just, like, a cat, and, like, you got Magnemite, and then, hey, let's make another Pokemon that's just
a
three
rock
of
with
them.
arms, a dick that goes into the ground, a three-headed bird, this little tiny guy that has muscles.
But then eventually you do get Pokemon that are just, like, gears, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or, like, a mirror. I like Bronzor, though, but yeah. Although Gen 4 has, like, the coolest, some of the coolest legendaries, I think.
I mean, Darkrai is the edgiest Pokemon, but Darkrai is also very cool because I'm a sucker for edgy stuff like that.
Yeah, you're probably like a Reaper player in Overwatch.
I never played Overwatch that much, but when I did, it was, like, the healers, honestly. I played, like, Anna or whatever her name was.
I could really get down with Anna, honestly. I liked Mercy because, like... I don't know. You could do really well by not really having to do anything at all. And usually the people you were healing would, like, be completely sucking shit if you weren't there, like, doing something to help them. And I liked that. And I would always love when I would have, like, the most damage on the team as fucking Mercy.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that'd be some
I don't
bullshit.
understand how people were so, like, criminally awful at Overwatch. Like... Now the only people that play it are people that, like, take... Like, what killed Overwatch for me is when people take it way too seriously.
Well, yeah, it became, like, everyone was super competitive about it, and the casual scene kind of died because the only people that were left were going for pro.
Honestly, Overwatch kind of died when you could only have one of each character per team. Like, there was something awesome of, like, having a team of 6 Winstons and then, like, fucking the shit up, you know? It would be
was
hilarious.
Just, like, a good gimmick. I liked doing that. We had a team once, it was just, like, 6 Pharas. I don't know why.
That, like, is absolute madness.
Or just, like, 6 divas, and we all, like, throw our ults at the same time.
Yeah, you're just, like, trying to start a fucking terrorist attack in the middle of, like, a blizzard town.
Yeah, it was really good.
Ooh, let's talk about our good friend MovieBob.
Oh, yeah. We briefly have talked about MovieBob on this podcast before, but he always finds a way to bring us back in, you know? Like, he always puts himself out there to be made fun of.
Yeah, the last time we talked about MovieBob was when he said that Trump stole his Halloween, which I still think about, because why, if you're past the age of, like, 30, and why would you ever give a shit about Halloween? Just, like, get drunk and watch Army of Darkness or something.
Yeah.
But as you've probably heard, dear EMESIS viewer, MovieBob had a really nice, nice, friendly, flirty date with our good friend Lindsay Ellis.
The nostalgia chick.
Yeah, the person who only really got known for being the gender-bent version of Doug Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so... MovieBob, so there's some fucking tweet thread where people, like, I don't know, the original tweet was just saying, like, wow, it's real great that people care so much that we're all, like, that we have friends and talk to each other. I don't know, some bullshit like that. And then
Lindsay Ellis had to jump in.
Yeah, and Lindsay Ellis was just like, yep, girl, that's true. I don't remember, like, the original fucking dialogue or whatever. But then MovieBob replied, and he's like, yep, I for one am shocked. And he tweeted it with a picture of him with his arm around Lindsay Ellis. Like, they took a selfie at a con, like,
in 2013.
Several years ago. Yeah, it was, like, forever ago. And MovieBob kept this picture lying around at such an arm's length that he could just randomly bust it out for a picture, like, for a fucking tweet to Lindsay Ellis. And then Lindsay Ellis replies completely roasting his ass. She's like, I don't like you. We're not friends. Like, we've never been friends. I've had to shadow ban
I've like soft blocked you several times, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I don't shadow ban. Soft block 6 times. Which, if you guys don't know what soft blocking is, it's just like where you block someone and then unblock them, because it doesn't automatically refollow someone if you do that. So then it's just like your way to get them to unfollow you without, and it doesn't like notify them. So they'd have to go out of their way to know that happened. And like the original tweet just kind of said that, and then she said later that every time she would soft block Bob, he would refollow within the exact same day.
So he was like keeping tabs.
Yeah, and so like what people are kind of just, I don't know, guessing happened is that Bob would, like, if he noticed that he didn't see any Lindsay tweets for a while in his feed, he would be like, oh, that's weird, I'm gonna go to her... Like, he actively notices when he doesn't see her tweets in his feed, and he's like, well, I guess I should go check to see, like, if something's broken. And then he sees that he's not following her, and then he's like, well, shit, I guess I gotta, refollow or whatever. That's giving him the benefit of the doubt, though, that he wasn't just trying that hard to still be, like, buddies with Lindsay Ellis. And it's like, honestly, why her? I don't dislike Lindsay Ellis particularly, but, like...
Of all people in the world, it's just like, come on, man.
Well, it's so funny to me because MovieBob's, like, biggest aspiration for a long time, other than his eating habits, was, to get on That Guy with the Glasses. Like, he actively wanted to become a part of that fucking website, which... I don't... Like, what do you say to that? You're a person on the internet. You can just upload your videos to YouTube, and provided you get lucky and have content people want to watch...
I'm trying to think now, like, why would, of all things, to be on That Guy with the Glasses? It's literally just so that you can have collaborations with Linkara and Spoonie, I assume.
Yeah, you get to be a part of, like, Linkara's lore. You get to appear in a video where, like, you get to help him review, like, I don't know, the fucking, like, Spider-Man Saves the Galaxy Volume 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And
you get to be one of the side characters for a minute or two.
Like, I was informed that Linkara... Like, I've not really actively watched Linkara ever. The only video I've seen of his is, I might have talked about it before. He was reviewing the JoJo anime, and I guess he was trying to go through it, like, by part or whatever. He wasn't just like, okay, let's skip to Stardust Crusaders. He's like, no, let's start with, like, the first season that, like, or the first part that, like, nobody really gives a shit about. Like, part 1 is fine, but it's not, like, what people would ever really... Nobody's gonna be like, oh yeah, Phantom Blood is my favorite part, you know? But...
Battle Tendency is really good, though.
Oh, it is, yeah. It's better than Stardust Crusaders, but... He was reviewing it, and he was literally just kind of recounting what happens with, like, clips of the anime, and then going like, well, that's pretty weird. Like, it would literally just be like, well, then Dio kills his dog. Why the hell did he do that?
I hate reviews like that. You're not adding any insight. You're just giving me a recap and then giving me a quip. Like, are you gonna actually show me what it is you have a problem with, or why you like something?
Like, for as fucking pedantic as Spoonie could be, at least he would... like, give reasons why he was criticizing, like, Tekken Blood Vengeance or whatever. If anything, he, like, almost gave way too many details of, like, nitpicking everything, but at least that's something. Like, that that video that I watched was literally just Linkara...
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's, like, you could get that fucking... Like, anything he said,
it's just
like what the average person says watching JoJo.
It's an over-glorified reaction video, that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly, but and this one thankfully didn't have any fucking, like, lore skits or whatever. That would have been a fucking bizarre one.
Wait, you're telling me Doug Walker didn't show up and be like, it is me, not Dio, and he's, like, dressed up as Dio or whatever? And then...
No, I would have loved it if Doug Walker showed up, and then, like, he's Dio, and then Linkara is Jonathan, and then they have, like, one of those, like, shitty, like, Channel Awesome fights or whatever, like when they did... AVGN versus Nostalgia Critic.
My favorite Channel Awesome is when what is it? Rob Scallon and that's not Angry Joe. It's Rob Scallon as Superman and Doug Walker as Batman, and they have this like 3-minute long song about Batman versus Superman. It's really amazing. You guys should see it. It's totally worth your time.
I might have it playing in the background for the next little bit of us talking.
It's just, I watch that, and it's just like these grown men dancing on a green screen, singing songs about a superhero, and it's like, I wouldn't even do that right now. Like, I wouldn't have done that when I was 15.
So this, I guess to get back on MovieBob, this, Lindsay Ellis thing, oh yeah, so after that happened, Bob, like, made a total cope post, like a tweet response, where he was like, I feel hurt. I feel like he said he feels borderline gaslighted, which first of all, it's fucking gaslit, okay? I know it like gaslighted for some reason is the like agreed term, but that sounds like a fucking 6-year-old trying to speak English.
I got gaslighted.
Yeah, like, oh, I fighted with the teacher today, or like it's literally that fucking shit. It's fucking gaslit, you pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But then, how are you, like, gaslighting, for as much as it's overused, is a pretty fucking cut and dry thing. You can't really be borderline gaslighted. You are or you're not. It's like saying you were, like, borderline raped or something. Like, what's the borderline there?
He borderline murdered that guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I guess he, like, almost killed him, but then the bleeding out made him die, so technically he didn't do it. It's like, what fucking kind of sense does that make? But ever since that happened, I've just been absolutely, like, obsessed with Bob now, just trying to figure out every dumb thing, or, like, learn every dumb thing about him. Like, I found this tweet the other day. I'm gonna post it, or, like, show it on screen. He was talking about Pixels, which his most popular video ever was him bitching about how Pixels is, like, an absolute affront to humanity, and like
he sees the movie as like almost offensive, like as if it's a crime.
He sees it as like gamer appropriation or whatever. It's basically like he thinks it's his equivalent of like if they made like an Al Jolson movie where they were like super glorifying him or something, but for like gaming. It's
literally just an Adam Sandler, Kevin James in the Bunch movie where they fight Donkey Kong and Pac-Man in the sky with their video game controllers or something.
And it's a movie that is exclusively for, like, moms that will, like, take their kids to see it on a weekend or something, and then none of them think about it ever again.
My kid likes video games. Let's go take him to see Pixels.
Yeah, it's like they basically see it as, like, you know, another, like, Wreck-It Ralph type thing, where it's like, oh, hi, I see Sonic on screen, I'm gonna go show him we're gonna go see the movie with Sonic.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, just something like that. And so he had a tweet about it where he said that Pixels was so bad it made him want to burn every piece of gamer nostalgia that he owns. But then if he did that, he wouldn't have any more shirts.
He said that, by the way. That's not like someone making fun of him. That's literally
that's almost
what he
word
said.
for word.
It felt as if he was parodying himself, but he wasn't.
Yeah, literally, he fucking like it sounds like somebody made like at the movie blob or something. They're like making fun of him.
I love saying like movie slob or movie blob. Like
my favorite one is Lindsay Ellis would call him Film Robert all the time instead of actually like giving him the, you know, the thrill of being referred to by his real name by his waifu Lindsay Ellis.
Yeah, fucking Film Robert.
I also found out that he has a very particular relationship with Metroid Prime. I guess the first one. I don't know what he feels about 2 and Echoes, but
didn't play them.
So, of course, because he hated the first one so much. Although, so Bob does not like the game, but he says that he does. But basically, he said that, for the record, you fucking invalids, I actually do like Metroid Prime, but I played most of it. I played as much of the game as I could in Morph Ball mode.
Oh yeah, he despises shooters, first person specifically.
Yeah, he like, and it's only because he thinks that they're for like, you know, the toxic mayo. He calls them like mayonnaise ghouls or whatever. Like
the gamer dude bros.
It's like, Bob, what race do you think you are?
Yeah. So he dislikes anything that's Call of Duty-esque, And
yeah.
he clumps,
that's what I was gonna say.
He clumps Metroid Prime into that, even though it's one of the more unique first-person shooters. I mean, there's plenty of unique first-person shooters, and all just like, oh, you go to Afghanistan and fight the Middle Eastern terrorist guy. That's not...
I wouldn't even call it really I guess it technically is a first-person shooter, but it's just like a first-person, like, action-adventure
It's
game.
Metroid in first-person. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Like, I didn't get very far in it as a kid because I was a dumbass kid, and they kind of expect a lot out of you as a kid to, like, know all this shit.
So he hates the game because he played it in a really weird way that you wouldn't play it because he didn't want to play it the way you play it. That's what it boils down to.
I equated it to, like, if he was trying to play Portal without the portal gun. Like, the morph ball mode is what you only get in. You only go into the morph ball mode when you need to, like, crawl into tight spaces or something. There's no fucking reason to ever be in the morph ball, but he's like, oh, this is like, it's in a format that I can actually stand because you're not in first person when you're using the morph ball. That would be very sickening after, like...
Talk about how much Pokemon sucks when, like, you only used your starter and didn't catch anything else.
Yeah.
You didn't build a team.
I thought of, like, a Game Over Thinker video where Bob is complaining about Portal because he tried to play it without the portal gun and then got, like, stuck on the very first level where you, like... Not even when you get the orange portal. Like, he got stuck on one of the blue portal puzzles.
Oh, don't even talk about it. It's so depressing.
I just don't understand how... Oh, yeah, and Bob has a great obsession with Mario.
It's his favorite thing. You've probably seen the picture of him dressed as Mario. If you haven't, we should probably show you.
Yeah, it'll be on screen. He's probably going to be part of the visualizer, too. But, so... Bob, apparently, according to Chris, I've not seen this, or like the source of this, but apparently Bob left a funeral early to go home and play Mario 3. And
yeah,
like bro, I get it. Funerals suck. Like, if I had to go to a funeral right now, I wouldn't really want to go. But if I had to, I wouldn't go home to play like Katamari or something.
I picture it. So this is spoilers for Naruto Shippuden, but it's like when Asuma died, and you've got Shikamaru who was training under him, and he's like so devastated by it. He doesn't show up to the funeral because it's too much for him. I picture it was like that for MovieBob, but instead of just like sitting out there and thinking about it, he just went and played Mario instead.
Like, there's like in the future movie about MovieBob that comes out, there's gonna be like a scene where he's like trying to hold back tears that are like falling onto his NES controller as he's on like World 4 or whatever, and it's like there's big blocks. It reminds me of my friend and his big heart. He's just like monologuing to himself.
Well, he does. That's gonna be in the like film adaptation of his book about Mario 3.
In which he says that the console wars between Nintendo and Sega was his personal Vietnam.
That's my favorite quote of all time. I should have had that as my yearbook quote.
Fuck, what was the other one? He said that, he said that the launch of Mario 3, or like the reveal of Mario 3 was as historically significant as 9/11 and the JFK assassination. Which... No, I mean, I wasn't alive in, like, 1986 or whatever. So
I don't think, like, the Wizard was that big of a deal. Like, obviously it was for video games, but it wasn't, like, that big. It was just kind of like, oh, cool, this is the new Mario game, and it's being shown off in this movie.
Yeah, a movie that looks awful.
Yeah, it's one of those corny, bad 80s teen action things. That's all it is. It's nothing special.
And, like... I'll give it to you. Mario 3 is like a 10 out of 10 game. It's fucking incredible.
Awesome.
It's not the be all end all of gaming, you know.
I wouldn't put it in my top 10.
No, I wouldn't either.
If I were gonna put any Mario game in my top anything, it'd be Mario 64 for me, honestly.
Yeah, I'd probably go 64. Like, there's just something so... I mean, I could probably just partially
like
nostalgia for
one of the most magical games ever made.
I couldn't really get into Odyssey, honestly. I played it a little bit, and like...
Yeah, I tried. It didn't click for me.
It feels too open-ended for me, honestly.
It just didn't click for me, but I do love the Galaxy games.
Oh yeah, the Galaxy games are fucking incredible. Like, I don't know if I've ever played Mario Galaxy 2, but I know that it's just like the first, but more of it. Which, like, that's, you know, A-okay with me, because...
It's ideal.
Nobody else is fucking making Mario Galaxy, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, like, there are other people that are making, like, the Naruto fighting games, just, like, skinned differently. Although, Ultimate Ninja was pretty cool. You could like go into the background and stuff.
I like the Ninja Storm games. They're just like casual fun for like if you want to play a fighting game with people that don't really play fighting games because they can figure it out.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, Naruto, like Smash or something.
Essentially.
Although they did have that with Jump Force, and that game looked really rushed.
See, I think it'd be really cool to have an anime fighting game, but not in the way that they always try to do it. Like, they've had other... What is it, Shonen Jump? They've had other games that are that.
Oh yeah, they had ones on like the DS where you could be like Luffy fighting against like, I don't know, Potemkin from Guilty Gears and shit. Like,
but like they really just need to make a Shonen Jump fighting game in the style of like Dragon Ball Fighters or Guilty Gear, anything like that. Just have Arxis do it.
Well, yeah, just put it in like even like the BlazBlue engine could work for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
anything really. Like
Jump Force just kind of looked like a shittier version of those like 3D Dragon Ball Z fighting games, which are like, those are fun, but I played them more recently. I played Budokai Tenkaichi 2, and the controls in that game are really fucking bizarre. Like, it took me a while to... There are some games where you don't touch it for like 10 years, and then you come back to it, and it's like you're riding a bike again. You just like completely remember how it works or whatever. But then you have a game like this that you turn it on and you have to like hold down L2 and X to like dash forward. You hold down L2 down on the D-pad and triangle to do your ult and stuff. It's like
stuff you will not remember unless you constantly play the game.
Which, like, you can't play it online, so nobody's going to be playing it like that, you know what I mean?
Not at all.
Nobody's playing Budokai Tenkaichi even like 3 on a competitive level because it's not a game.
I know it's a game that people like because it has a lot of characters from the series, like most. It has like
almost every character that's ever been in DBZ, like even ones that aren't from Dragon Ball Z. Like
it has
like Mr. Slump characters in it.
Yeah, so that game is beloved for that. But I don't really think it's seen as a competitive game. If you're gonna play a fighting game competitively that's Dragon Ball, you're gonna play the current one, which is Fighter Z or Fighters or whatever you say.
Have you played it? I have no idea.
I've tried to get into it. I think it's alright. It's just not really my style, but I think it's a fun game to watch.
How's that League fighting game looking?
Like shit.
Yeah, I did not even know this was coming out until Chris told me about it, but they're making a League of Legends fighting game where...
Or maybe it's not League. It is made by Riot, though. I assume it's using League of Legends assets.
Yeah, I would like, there's no way they're not going to put, like, I don't know, Jinx in the game or whatever. They're going to put some, or like Ari or something. They're going to put, you know, those characters in it at least
of course.
As bonuses. But from what I've seen, it's a fighting game where all of your special moves are just like assigned to buttons instead of...
Yeah, you press like a button that's on cooldown. It's like casting a spell in Diablo or World of Warcraft, except in a fighting game.
Yeah, as opposed to, you know, like, I mean, pretty much any other fighting game where you would do like, I don't know, quarter circle punch or whatever to do your super or whatever. Mm-hmm. Instead, you just go up to the enemy, you press the R2 button, and you bonk them on the head, and then, you know, you get your...
Like, you've got your standard buttons that are just like your, you know, like punch kick.
It just like kind of seems like a fighting game for for exceptional people, people that don't have like the time or like capacity or whatever
to learn how to do down,
can do like
right,
quarter circle back,
punch,
half circle up, kick or whatever to do my fucking super.
Hey, baby. Want some Adam West penis?
So, let's talk about Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo. We were just talking about how good Nintendo was.
Oh yeah, now we get to shift gears into publicly flaying them, I guess. Like us and the rest of anyone that is not MovieBob, I guess. Like, MovieBob is probably on Twitter right now saying, like, actually, Nintendo has the right to shut down anything they want, you fucking mouth-breathing normies.
He probably doesn't even know about any of this. He's too busy writing his review for the next Marvel movie or something.
He's too busy saying the Avengers Endgame is, like, the new... What did he say? It's, like, the new call...
He used these really big words.
He used, like, these, old, like, Greek gods or whatever, and they're, like...
Some analogy he was making.
I'm gonna post it on screen. It was really fucking bizarre. It was basically saying that this is the most incredible thing that humankind has ever achieved. Like, this is what, like, 10,000 years ago gods, like, made us to do, or whatever.
Was to make Avengers Endgame.
And, Nintendo has been quite, awful lately.
I can get into this one.
Yes.
So every year there's this major tournament called the Big House, and it's supposed to be happening around this time. However, this year, because of COVID, there hasn't really been much for tournaments because they're shifting all to online, and fortunately there's a program called Slippi, Slippi, and it essentially just turns Super Smash Melee into a online game with rollback netcode. So it's
Can you explain briefly what rollback is?
Yeah, I should get into
that.
that.
I don't really know.
So rollback is, the easiest way to put it is when you're fighting, it instead of delay where the game will buffer or like slow down to catch up, what it does is it goes off of like the movements you're making and it kind of like corrects them or like just like predicts them. It kind of knows what you're gonna do, so it'll roll back if it needs to. It's really hard to explain because I don't even know that much about it. All I know is that when I play a rollback fighting game, my inputs feel a lot nicer than they would on a delay-based game.
Than on any Nintendo Online.
Yeah, so you play Slippi and then you play Smash Ultimate Online. Fucking incredible difference. So
yeah, like from what I can tell, like playing with Slippi is akin to actually like playing in person.
It's the closest you can get. Like, if I were to play someone in Quebec right now, we should have a decent connection. We should be able to play a pretty normal match.
Meanwhile, like...
If I tried to play
Smash Ultimate Online. I've only played Ultimate Online a few times, but I remember playing when my brother and I played it when Banjo came out, and on top, I mean, everyone was playing as Banjo too, but so... it would just be, like, there would be whole, like, entire seconds of, like, not even lagging, just the game would freeze, and then, like, I guess try to speed back up to what it thinks would be, like, I don't even know what it's trying to do.
It doesn't know what it's trying to do.
I just don't get how Nintendo is still so fucking shit with online. Like, I remember Brawl being fucking unplayable.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Brawl
that too.
ran at, like, fucking, like, 6 frames a second. It was fucking atrocious.
Yeah. So, these people figured out how to make that not a problem anymore for emulators. And so, a bunch of...
obviously without anything to do with Nintendo. Like, these people are just doing it on their own.
Yeah, so a bunch of people have figured out how to do this, and other fighting games are using rollback now. One of the first instances was Killer Instinct 2013. One of the older Guilty Gear games, its community just created an online rollback that actually got picked up by ArcSys, who are now basically, they've updated their game to add this rollback. So they took
Didn't they hire the person that made it?
They hired them to like create this rollback for the official version of the game. Or even
Which is
like
awesome.
The community version of Melty Blood has rollback, Fightcade does. All of these are still running and you can do tournaments for them. And then there's been tournaments for Melee using Slippi. So like the Smash Summit that just happened was on Slippi, but that wasn't sponsored by Nintendo. So Big House has a partnership with Nintendo, and because they found out that they were using pirated copies of Melee to run their tournament, Nintendo was like, yeah, we can't do this, we're shutting you down.
Who cares? Like, that's what I don't like. Like, why would they care? Like, you can't buy Melee in a way that gives them money right now.
No, you literally cannot.
If they would have to like remaster it. If they just put fucking Melee on Switch and sold it for $60, people would buy it like day one.
Oh, absolutely. It's such an easy thing to sell. They're doing it with Mario right now, and they just haven't done it with Melee, which would definitely have an audience.
Hell, they could just, like, do it. They wouldn't have to put Brawl on it. They could just put, like, Melee and then throw in, like, the original as a bonus or something.
Yeah,
and
just
then...
something.
Yeah, even if they didn't have anything extra, though, people would still fucking buy it.
Even if it didn't have online, like, people would still use it.
And so they shut down this tournament, and it's, like... Or, wait, I don't know if we got to that part here.
Yeah, they did shut down this tournament, and then, like, a whole, like, hashtag Save Melee kind of thing happened. And there's just been like this info. I'll send you the thing later. It's from like an anonymous smasher that has very credible
Nintendo
info.
and it has not been saved, spoiler alert.
Yeah, so there is very credible info about them like trying to fuck with other things happening. I will mention one thing that I remember seeing was that so I think it was the Smash Summit's Twitter account had to delete every mention of Slippy, like in tweets. They had to delete all the tweets that were like using the word Slippy.
Wow, that's gonna make people forget about Slippy.
Yeah, I know, it's so stupid. And I don't think they technically can shut down Slippy, because like I don't think Slippy is directly like a pirated Melee thing. I think it's just like it's modifying emulation, just happens to work with Melee. So I think technically it's not illegal. I don't know the specifications, but I feel like Nintendo could try to take them to court over it, and then
they would fucking lose.
Yeah, like the Slippy team.
Nintendo has lost lawsuits for this kind of thing before. Like they tried to sue the people that made the Game Genie, and the Game Genie is like it's like on the exact same level as something like Slippy, but they lost the lawsuit.
I just don't know if the Slippy team would be able to like have a lawyer to go to court. I don't know what would go on with that.
God, they should do like some kind of crowdfunding thing.
If they had to go to court, they definitely would have like the world backing them, or like, you know, the nerd world.
It just makes you wonder, like, if I guess Nintendo is that fucking out of touch. They would do that. Like, why?
Well, this isn't the first time.
Get.
Like in 2013.
Oh, of course, like
they did this thing with Evo.
This bullshit forever.
So yeah, 2013's Evo, Melee got voted by the whole community pretty much to be a main stage game. It beat Skullgirls for that, and a few other games that were fighting for it. So this was huge because Melee hadn't been at Evo since 2007, I believe. And so Nintendo decides, well, we can't have this game being streamed. So they tried to like stop it from being streamed, and there was so much backlash that like in less than 24 hours they resigned their statement, and Melee got to like be streamed on main stage Evo.
Good. Like, I could never understand why they would do that.
Well, this was in that era. Remember that whole era?
In that instance, they are using original, like, bought hardware or whatever.
They were, literally.
But yeah, that was around the time that Nintendo was doing the, like...
Yeah, that whole, like, we don't want people to stream our games, or, like...
Wasn't even streaming. It was like, if you showed, like, 3 seconds of Mario 3 in a video, you would get, like, Nintendo gets all your, like, ad revenue.
Yeah, that was a whole era that did not last.
And then their compromise was like, well, if you partner with us, you get some of it.
Yeah, that was
Then
stupid.
there was some bias too, from what I remember. Like there would be people like Pro Jared that are allowed to like play more, or like, you know, Nintendo games and get monetized, and like Nintendo would send him like a free Switch or whatever if he like reviews Breath of the Wild. Yeah. Meanwhile, like, if you're, like, I don't know, Angry Joe or something, you review a Wii U. I mean, he doesn't review Nintendo shit, but if he did, like, if he reviews, like, I don't know, Zombie U on the Wii U, because he's like, I need a hardcore game. Like, if he reviews that,
like, yeah, you can't do that, Chief.
Yeah, and then Angry Joe would make another, like, 30-minute rant video, where he's, like, basically crying that he can't get, like... You can't get another Superman shirt.
It's literally just
ad
fucking...
revenue.
It's Disney... but in the gaming industry. I've been saying that. It's just Nintendo is the Disney of the gaming industry. That's literally what they are. They've made all these classics. They own your childhood. They still put out some quality products here and there, and you're just forced to buy them because they're the only people that are providing it.
Yeah, and like it's weird because for every like good decision Nintendo has done, like I think having only $20 a year for online is fucking insane, and you get like
the SNES library
console. Yeah, you get like a mini virtual console with like free shit. I think that's really cool. But then for everything like that, you just have them being complete fucking dumbasses. Like, I guess it's because like, I mean, like Japanese culture is like very archaic, and they take a long time to like adapt to modern times. So I guess they just don't have anybody there. Yeah. So I think they just don't have anybody there that's like, you know, this is a bad idea, guys.
They're very protectionist.
They have nobody there. They have nobody there with like a fly swatter to like hit them on the hand and be like, no, don't ban that person from YouTube.
Yeah, they love to protect their IPs, like more than anyone else.
And it's like, why?
Look at Sega. there's so many Sonic fan games out there that there is it's like a fan expo for it called like Sage, where they showcase a bunch of Sonic fan games. And
yeah, don't they have like Sonic game jams and
yeah,
stuff?
like Sega is very supportive of the Sonic community. And the Sonic community, like, it used to be seen as like all like cringe or whatever, but now I feel like the Sonic community is a lot more respected because it's very just dedicated people that love Sonic games and they just make their own content. And it was so good that Sega had those people create Sonic Mania.
Yeah, the people that made Sonic Mania, I was gonna get into that. So in Sonic 2, there were a few like cut levels that you could still find in like the files of the game, but in like a completely unplayable state. And so with like the assets that they they could find or whatever, and also like footage of like the missing levels being shown on like there was like one that was on like Nick Arcade, I think, like shit like that, and in like gaming magazines and in the public and stuff, they would have these like missing these levels that were not in the game. And so people made like a fan game where they, you know, restored these missing levels, and they were like dead accurate to what they would have actually been like in Sonic 2, and they played like really well. Like they played perfectly normal to the point that Sega just like paid those people to be able to release that version of Sonic 2 that they made on the like App Store.
Oh yeah.
And then the people that did that, they brought them on the team to make Sonic Mania, which was like considered a pretty great like, you know, return to form. Like I know a lot of people hated, I thought it looked okay, but Sonic 4, like people did not, apparently like the physics were kind of busted in that game.
It just didn't feel
I don't really
good
know
to
much
play.
about it.
It just was like kind of shitty.
I know like I don't know. Even I don't really think even Sonic 1 is all that good.
No, that's a
fine,
pretty normal take. People don't really care that much about Sonic 1.
Oh, I mean, maybe the other ones are better then. I just kind of figured that all the old games are like it. Because when I played Sonic 1 more recently, I played it like a few months ago, and I fucking, like, that game is, like, designed against itself or whatever. Like, I'm not, like, fucking I'm not gonna do like a sequelitis on fucking Sonic or whatever. I'm not a game like analyzer or whatever, but fucking I hate that game is like, oh yeah, it feels really good to go fast. You want to go fast, don't you? Oh, there's a fucking like spike pit and you just
Sonic
died.
2, 3,
like,
CD Mania, they do it way better than Sonic 1.
Like Sonic 1 will just be like, oh yeah, you're going fast, and then just I hate whenever, I mean in general I hate like one-hit death traps and like 2D platformers. That's why I don't like Mega Man. Like I mean like obviously it's one thing if you have like a pit in Mario or something, but in Mario it's a lot easier to forecast where you're going, so you're not going like 300 miles an hour. Yeah, Sonic 1 is just I don't know. But that's at least better than like Sega has the right idea, and that's what's bizarre to me, because people generally say like, oh yes, Sega doesn't really matter anymore. They completely lost the console
wars. They keep their
like,
fans like very close, because the way they handle, like, it seems to me at least when I've been playing it, Phantasy Star Online 2, like they really take care of that game, and yeah, it's a really fun MMO. It's one of my favorite ones that isn't World of Warcraft. It's very like passionate, I can tell. I mean, there's even like a community before the English version that had like, I think there's like an unofficial English patch, and Sega had no problem with people doing that, but then they just put the game out actually.
Well, yeah, because they probably see like dollar signs if they do.
Yeah, they're like, oh wait, people actually want to play this in North America, so here it is. And it's like a free game too. Like you don't really need to spend any money on it.
Like, wasn't there like a community of people that had like black servers or whatever, private servers for PSO1? Like,
yeah, like even on the Dreamcast,
people still wanted to play this game, and they, I guess, they didn't see the writing on the wall before, but then they did eventually, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna actually put this on a thing where you can actually play it. You don't have to like mod your Dreamcast to still connect to the internet like 21 years later.
Yeah, so they got no problems with that. They let Sonic fans do their thing. Even just like other devs and that seem to be okay with things. It's just Nintendo doesn't like that.
Yeah, and I don't get why it's them, because they already have plenty of fucking money. Like the Switch,
they got more money than the people that are okay with these things. Like they probably have more than Sega does, maybe not by like a large margin, but
I think they do. Like the Switch,
probably, yeah.
Like
I mean, Sega still does well, I think. I just don't know like how much they're making compared to Nintendo, but Nintendo's definitely making a lot more.
I saw a stat that like of the three, like I guess now like modern consoles, the Switch, the PS5, and the Xbox
Series X.
I hate that name. I wish there was something I could call it for short.
Xbox Sex.
I'm just gonna call it the X. Yeah, I'm just call it the Xbox. Like.
Yeah.
But I saw a statistic that like in the time since those other two consoles like came out, the Switch is still like the best selling of those three consoles. Like it's still, and I mean like the ones that it's sold like in that time alone. Like it's still like having a ton of people buy it. Although that could partially be because like they sold out of the PS5s and stuff. Like I couldn't fucking believe when that came out and people were like buying them for like $900 when they were like what, $500 at launch.
Yeah, just so you can play like 2K with better graphics or Cold War with slightly better graphics.
Yeah, and Chris had a giveaway on Twitter about the PS5.
Oh, I want to talk about this. I forgot I did this because this was quite a while ago now. I found this picture someone took where they had a bunch of PS5 boxes.
Yeah, they had like 20 PS5s or something.
And I guess the whole thing is they were trying to flex that they were going to scalp them and make like double the profit or whatever. And so I just stole that photo, posted it on my Twitter, and I'm like, free PS5 giveaway. And then I'm like, to enter, you gotta like this tweet, or I didn't even say that. I just said like, you gotta go out in public and scream Elvin, like in the movie Elvin and the Chipmunks. Like you gotta do that, and I will send you the PS5 if you send me a video of you doing this in public. And I don't think people read that part, so they
saw the first two words, which were PS5 giveaway, and so you got to
they liked, retweeted, followed me, and then they asked like how to get the PS5. I got DMs, and
yeah,
oh, man, that was fun.
Somebody was like, "Hey, where'd you get all those PS5s?" And you just said like, "My friend works at Sega."
No, I said friend
Sony.
work. I said friend work at the Sony.
And then they were like, they were still like, I would have just blocked you at that point, but like. This person kept going. They were like, so what do I gotta do to get it? It's like, it's in the tweet.
Yeah. Someone asked like, yo, what do I do? I was like, you read the tweet.
And there was some guy that was like, this is so fake. Nobody buys this picture anymore. And it's like, yes, you fucking... Yeah, thank you.
Like, then why is this tweet getting
Socrates.
retweeted?
Like, we really needed that.
Yeah, I know. It was just fun because like I was making a very clear shit post for like 5 friends to like and be like, haha. But no, it actually caught on and people retweeted it without realizing it was a fucking shit post. It would have been so funny
if you got suspended from Twitter for doing that. Like,
or,
this guy is orchestrating fake news. Get him the fuck out of here.
But what if like I got a video of someone screaming Elvin?
I would have bought a PS5 for that guy.
Yeah, I probably would have, not gonna lie.
Like, I was telling Chris, like, if I had, like, fuck you money, I would buy, like, a ton of, like, shit like that. Like, PS5s and, like, Beats headphones and stuff. And then...
I would just give away things, like money or items to people. Just be like, hey, can you, like, go over there and scream, like, Alvin? I'll give you this, like, pair of headphones if you do it.
Oh, yeah, I'd be like, hey, can you, like, get a Visa that has like the Batman logo on it and then go to like a Denny's and then try to pay with the Bat credit card and then scream in their face Bat credit card. If you do, I'll send you these like Beats Pro headphones that cost me like $300.
Can you like run around the mall blaring the Nostalgia Critic theme? Here's $100 if you do it.
Like, hey, can you go egg MovieBob's house? I'll give you if you can steal MovieBob's hat, I'll give you $1,000.
Yeah, like, that would be my use of money if I was a millionaire.
Here, go up, like, at a con, go up to MovieBob and try to put your whole finger into one of his cheeks.
Okay, I would just do that on my own.
Can you imagine, like, you put your finger in Bob's cheek and then it, like, bites down like just another mouth and then, like, you just don't see your finger again?
Oh, man.
I still, like, if I ever... Chris and I had, like, differing, like... he said, like, if you saw MovieBob in person, you would just, like, go up to him and laugh at him. I would not.
I don't think I would. I would
go up to him. Oh, yeah, but I would go up to him and pretend to be a huge fan. I would be like, oh my god, I fucking love the game Underthinker. Like, it's just a really compelling, like, character that you do.
I would just scream, MovieBob! And then that's it. Like, I wouldn't do anything else.
I would ask him to sign my golden axe.
What game is that from?
Oh, so we haven't even talked about that part. So we found this video where it was so Bob does these like game underthinker versus game. I don't know if he has
overthinker.
I don't know if he does multiple, but there's at least one where he has like the game overthinker who's supposed to be Bob. Like it's supposed to be this like big brain like titan of intellect. And then there's another guy who's like
the anti-thinker.
Who's like supposed to be, fucking.
He's wearing like a tap out shirt and he's got a snapback on backwards.
Yeah, and he talks in this like really offensive like affectation of like a disabled person just about. But like making better points than the game overthinker. Like so basically
but they're supposed to be like joke points, even though they really aren't.
Yeah, so like but in this video they were talking about just like different games or whatever, and he's like, yeah, for my battle I'm coming with my golden axe, and he holds up like a golden axe from the Sega game, and then like the game underthinker is like, what game is that from? And he's like, golden axe, and then he's like, yeah, but what game is it from? And then the game overthinker just says
axe.
Yeah, but this goes on for like a minute and a half.
And he's got this really, like, shitty, like, gif of Navi that's transparent on the screen at some points.
Yeah, it's one of the most fucking bizarre...
But it's not Navi, it's Ivan, because that's Navi backwards.
Yeah, but it's just a gif of Navi. Like, you could have just called it Navi. You don't have to give it, like...
And he just basically, to do the dialogue for it, he pitches his voice up in, like, the post-production, and it
sounds nothing different than MovieBob. It just has, like, more pitch shift.
And it's really funny, too, because you can tell when he's filming it, like, he's just, like, shaking his camera around, like, at wherever he wants to place this character, and then he goes
really
into the
weird.
editing
Like, it looks like
over.
the Blair Witch Project. It's like... he has it like he doesn't have like a steady cam. It's like in his like shaky ass like diabetes hands. He's like just shaking the camera all around, trying to make it look like Navi's like flying around, and it's like, but Navi does not move. Like the background moves, but the Navi is just perfectly like there. It goes up, it goes down, and that's it. Like,
but what
ad
game
infinitum.
Is that from?
Golden Axe. I might actually just play a little bit of it.
Which game is that even from? Golden Axe. I know, but which game? Golden Axe. Right, I can see that, but which game? Golden Axe. I can see that it's a golden axe. What is the game that it is from? Golden Axe. Yes, but which game?
Oh, good lord.
One of the most incredible...
We love to, like bring it up all the time just because, like, we think it's that funny. Like,
yeah,
it's not supposed
it's like
to
our
be
inside
funny.
joke now. We'll just, like, we'll be talking about a game, and then Chris will go, like, what game is that from?
Yeah, I just love it so much because it's so unfunny that it becomes funny. So maybe it actually is just funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if MovieBob leaned into like being a terrible comedian instead of like a eugenist, like he could probably get like more. Maybe not at this point. Like he couldn't get more support now, but like maybe he would have landed that Channel Awesome gig if he like just kept doing the terrible puns or whatever, or the jokes that go on way the fuck too long. So, recently Spotify, every year, they do their Wrapped series, where it is not you becoming an aspiring rapper or anything. It is a thing where throughout your entire year, it'll, like, keep track of what you've been listening to. And then do this big spread of, like, your top artists, your most played songs, your most, like, all that shit. My top artist for the second year in a row was Blade, Bladey, Drain Gang, PewDiePie's favorite rapper, unironically. And what was yours, Chris?
I tried to get mine. It just hasn't shown up yet. Like I go into the app and it's not there, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I'll show you how to do it. I had to find it too, but we'll show both of our results on screen though, so you can mock us for our music taste. But it kind of really, like, looking at the Wrapped things, it doesn't just show you your Wrapped, it shows, like, the year in general, and I feel like I had a completely different 2020 than, like, every other person on Earth, because, like, the most viral hits of the year, it said, like, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd was, like, the 20th most streamed song of the year, and it's, like, that, I could not, like, turn on a radio in my mom's car all year without hearing that song at least one time. Like, it was absolutely fucking inescapable. More so than, like, WAP or, like, anything by, like, Megan Thee Stallion or anything. But then, it would show you that, like, I don't know, Taylor Swift had a good 2020, and it's like, did she? I didn't even know she put anything out.
Yeah, I didn't know either. Like, I feel like I'm so out of touch.
And I think we just are. Like, I guess Chris and I are more like the hipstery bullshit.
I mean, like, I listen to, like,
palette.
my music's like The Fall of Troy, Periphery, that kind of thing.
And then I've listened to a lot of, like, just fucking dumbass, like, hipster electronic bullshit.
Nothing wrong with that.
I guess I make it, too, as you get to hear in the beginnings and ends of our episodes. So these wrapped things will just show you what everyone else has been listening to, and there was one that was showing you the most streamed groups of the year, and the cover art, like the cover people, was the fucking Hamilton cast.
Oh my god.
And that's very bizarre to me, because Hamilton was a thing like 4 years ago, and apparently now it's still one of, like, I guess it's because it finally came to, like, streaming and DVD and stuff, like, people can... I think it's literally just the stage play, but, like, recorded, and you can watch it now. And of course, like, every person that wishes they were still in history class, like, came all over it. They were like, I need to, you know, see fucking the guy from Clipping doing raps about Andrew Jackson or whatever.
Yeah. Andrew Jackson Jihad.
That fucking play ruined Clipping for me, because
I don't want to listen to Clipping anymore.
I mean, Clipping is good. Like, I'm being kind of hyperbolic, but, like, well, I guess the main reason it killed it for me is that because of Hamilton, Daveed Diggs, who's the guy from Clipping, was then, like, cast in this really fucking annoying commercial I kept seeing on Hulu, like, that was about, I think it's for, like, a phone company or something, I don't know, but it was one of those ones where it's, like, a bunch of average people, like, singing the dumbest bullshit song that they, like, made up for the commercial that sounds like it's, like, their show tunes bullshit. Yeah. And it was like a rapped thing, and part of it was Daveed Diggs, like, way too much. Like, I hope they gave that guy a good check for it at least, but I like, now every time I hear Clipping, I just hear that fucking song from that commercial, and I'm like, more power to him, I guess. They
He's
got
doing
that
his
check,
thing.
But I guess on the topic of popular music, I wanted to talk about the fucking Weeknd getting snubbed from the Grammys, which is the most bizarre thing.
He's the most mass appeal artist since Drake.
Yeah, I think he has more universal appeal right now than Drake. Like, my mom likes The Weeknd. Like, every time I play The Weeknd in the car, she's like, "Oh yeah, I heard that song on the radio before. I like that song."
My parents like The Weeknd.
Yeah, like, if I played, like, Drake in the car, I don't think my mom would like it. She doesn't really like rap, really, but...
Depending on the song, I mean, my mom probably wouldn't mind it.
I think I played Hold On, We're Going Home one time, and she was like, "Oh, I've heard this song." She doesn't mind that one, but that's literally just, like, a 4/4 pop song with, like, Drake singing about how this girl needs to stop being a slut and be, like, his, you know, be round his whip or whatever. It's fucking... I like that song, though. But I just couldn't believe that. Like, they had, in the Best New Artist, they had, like, Billie Eilish, and, like, they put Phoebe Bridgers in there and stuff, and it's like, are people super, like, listening to these artists? I guess. Like, I know a ton of people are listening to Billie Eilish, like, and then the Song of the Year candidates are just fucking dismal. I'd only heard, like, 2 or 3 of the songs that were nominated.
I feel like even just, like, up to, like, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even 3, I felt like I knew way more mainstream music. Like, I knew all, like, the top rappers at the time. I knew, like, what was big in pop, especially, like, even, like, at the start of the 2010s, mid-2010s. Like, pop music was going off. There's, like, so much notable stuff, and now I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's not even just, like, stop paying attention. It's just, like, I don't know what's going on.
It's almost like you have to go out of your way to hear the popular stuff now.
Maybe it's because I don't listen to the radio anymore, but even then, like, I just don't hear it anywhere. Well, I don't go out of my way to hear it. It's not, like, necessarily that interesting to me. Like,
in, like, 2012, like, you would always hear, like, Fun on the radio, and then you would go to, like, a grocery store, like, you go to, like, H&M or something, and they would still be playing Fun there. Like, it was that inescapable. But now it's like, I have never heard the song WAP in my life, and that's, like, one of the biggest songs of the year.
I know, right?
You just, like, you have to go out of your way, at least for me. I don't know.
Kind of,
listen to, like,
blew my mind.
Spotify playlist.
So, I'm into K-pop pretty casually. I love Red Velvet and Luna. And I always, like, have this impression that they're big, and, like, Red Velvet are pretty big, and I always assumed Luna was, but then I was looking at this chart of, like, some of like the most popular K-pop songs, and there wasn't even any Luna on there. I was very surprised.
Luna's like the thing where like if you know, you know. Like I wouldn't say they're obscure, but they're
because like I used to see them on Twitter all the time because like there was one of those things where people would be like Stan Luna, and all that.
The fucking Chips Ahoy Twitter tweeted Stan Luna. Like,
yeah.
It was that inescapable, but that's
it's
the
just
thing
like,
is, like...
I think that people assume that it's just shit, and so they don't listen to it, but then you listen to it, and it's like, holy shit, this is, like, the, like, top-notch pop production.
I think the production on, like...
And they're very, like, pretty vocalists and all that. They're really good.
Yeah, like, I kind of have a bit of a... Like, I love K-pop, but I've kind of a disconnect with it, where, like... People kind of expect that if you're into K-pop, you really care a lot about, like, knowing the names of everyone in the group and, like, what their blood type is and, like, whether or not they're afraid of,
I just like how it sounds.
Yeah, exactly. And even, like, apparently a huge part of the K-pop thing is, like, watching all the music videos, and it's like,
I've never seen a music... I mean, I've listened to, like, so much Red Velvet. I don't think I've seen a second of a music video, though. I've always
their music videos are cool, though. You should watch them.
I probably should, honestly. It's just, like, I only ever, like, put them on Spotify.
Luna has kind of cool music videos, too. But I don't know. It's the kind of thing where I don't want to be... If I'm listening to a song, I don't want to be stuck there looking at visuals. To me, like, music and... Like, they can go together, but...
Yeah, exactly.
To me, like, K-pop videos are very, like... I don't know, I like to listen to music and then kind of, depending on what it is, like, but if it's, like, K-pop, I have it, I guess, slightly in the background while I'm, like, doing something else, like, it's not something you really have to, like, super pay attention to. It'll be, like, I'll be reading, like, Bob's Kiwi Farms thread while listening to, like, I don't know, Fromist 9 or something, and that, to me, is, like, the cozy environment. I don't need to be seeing, like, the G-Idol League of Legends K-pop groups, like, music video or whatever.
So, well, I think I was trying to get around to the point where, so yeah, I'm talking about Luna and Red Velvet. I'm like, yeah, these are really strong groups. And then I heard Blackpink, and I enjoyed a couple songs. I didn't really like them that much. And then I found out that they're, like, one of the biggest K-pop groups, and I was like, wait, what?
Blackpink was the first K-pop group to play at Coachella.
Yeah, like,
they're that big.
I didn't realize they were that big. I thought they were alright, but I didn't realize that they were, like, bigger than these ones that I thought were amazing.
Well, like, what's really weird is the Blackpink only had, like, 5 songs, like, by, like, 2017. Then in, like, the last few years, like, people think they really went downhill after 2017. Like, As If It's Your Last was, like, the last song people considered.
That's the only one I really care from them. But they're like, huge. They have, like, a big Netflix documentary. They have big mass appeal, I guess. Like
I know, like Whistle and Boombayah were super popular.
Like, they collaborated with Dua Lipa, and I think they've collaborated with other artists. I know BTS and all that has, but...
Yeah, they're basically, like, female BTS, I guess, in terms of, like, that level of popularity.
It just, like, blew my mind because I didn't think they were that... I'm not trying to say they're, like, dog shit. I mean, some people think they are, but I didn't think they were great or anything, but they were bigger.
Their bad songs are just kind of mediocre.
They're just, like, a very mediocre group. Like, they're above average at best. And, like, they're not... Like, they're just way more popular than any of the groups that I think are good.
And they're one of those groups where, like, they're... If you know what K-pop is, they're one of the, like, the 2 groups that you've heard, or whatever. Like, even if you don't know, like, necessarily what K-pop is, you've heard of Blackpink, you've heard of, like, you know, BTS, because you can't fucking get away from them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really get why it's Blackpink either. I guess because they're, like dull enough to appeal, like, widely.
Yeah, I think
like,
Luna's too interesting.
I used to really like them in, like, when, like, Whistle and Boombayah were, like, relatively new songs. I remember, like, finding them on Spotify, and, like, these songs are, like, I still think those songs both slap, but, like, they never were really, like, a group where I'm like, I am going to stand these. I'm going to have posters of them all over my walls. Like, the only, like, K-pop posters I've ever bought were, like, I had some of G-Friend, which I don't have up anymore because they're very shittily printed, and I paid way too much for them. And then I had some, I think, of Exit as well, but I don't know what happened to those. But yeah, I never really got why they were, like, I guess it is because of the, like, there's something you could easily see playing on the radio, I guess. They feel very American for, like, K-pop.
Yeah, I guess that's
which is
why.
weird because, like, like Bad Boy by Red Velvet was produced by like an American production group, and it doesn't sound like it to me. Like it still sounds very much K-pop to me.
Yeah, and it's fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's like one of the best K-pop songs ever, in my opinion.
Easy.
Like, I mean, I'm more into their like dance poppy stuff, I guess, like Bad Dracula and stuff.
Russian
but
Roulette.
I don't know. A Russian Roulette is fucking incredible. Yeah, but I don't know. I've been trying to get more into like, because I feel very stereotypical only listening to the girl groups. So I've been trying to like broaden out.
I need to hear some of the guys. I've listened to like all like the girls.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried even with the girl groups, and there's so fucking many. Like, I don't know how people keep up with it. Like, I finally got around to listening to FX only, like, a couple months ago.
I really like them, too.
And, like, oh, yeah, FX is great. But, like, they've been around since, like, the early 2010s. Like, they've been around, and I never really, like, I don't know, got around to them. You know who slaps, though, is NCT 127. Like, their name kind of sounds like an atom bomb or something, but, like, they're really... Like, I don't know, if you like Luna, they have the same kind of, like, colorful, like, I guess, next level kind of production.
Okay, that's cool.
They have really, like, they put out this album, Regular Irregular, that, it's, like, less than 40 minutes, which is very, like, modest.
Pretty convenient listen, then.
Yeah, and, like, to me, every song on there is good to great. Like, I don't know, I'd recommend it. If you're trying to get into, like, guy groups, I think that's a good place to start. And, like, even BTS, I don't mind. Like, they're they have really cool, colorful production, I think. Like,
I'd rather have them be popular than Blackpink.
Yeah, I mean, fucking RM, or Rapmon from BTS, he did, like, a solo track where he's just rapping over the beat to, Oh My Darling, Don't Cry by Run the Jewels, which is, like, that's a kind of a... I mean, Run the Jewels is, like, popular, but that was like around when that song came out, and they weren't like super known at the like they were known to like Fantano types.
Yeah, I was pretty aware of Run the Jewels when like the second album came out.
Oh yeah, but then for like someone from BTS to, you know, also be with it is kind of
that is
like,
cool.
You wouldn't really expect that.
I respect that.
So I think with that, we're going to leave you guys. We're going to go pick up milk and cigarettes. We'll be back in about 10.
You guys want anything? Let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah. Let us know what kind of Laffy Taffy you want. I'm going to get some blues for me. Well, thank you so much for listening. Stay off the rails. Make sure to go tweet at Collectibles Guru telling him to get hit by a bus for us.
And make sure to hashtag EMESIS. Please tag us at EMESIS Pod. You can find us there. I am at PAXIL Party, that's PAXIL. I'm at ChristRed _ because ChristRed was taken.
So Christ as in
Jesus.
MovieBob.
Yeah.
And then red as in...
LSTER.
Yeah, as in the color of Mario's hat. And then that MovieBob is like crying into right now. Oh, before we go, I wanted to say that I was talking to Alex, who was on a previous episode.
Episode 4.
He said, like, what do you think the odds are that Bob is jacked off to that picture of him and Lindsay Ellis? And I said, there's a greater than likely chance he has a physical picture of it, like, photo printed that has like, cum stains on it right now. I wouldn't put it past him to have, like, a cum jar with that picture, like, inside of it.
We'll leave you with that in your mind as you finish this episode.
Oh, yes. So thank you for listening. Stay off the rails. I think we're going to get a guest for the next one. Thank you for listening.